that should have just like had that speech written out. Like she should be writing like breakup speeches. Cheers to caffeination.
Being able to have caffeine again.
Great segue. Have you ever lost a fingernail?
Actually, no, I have not.
You've never lost a fingernail?
No.
Okay. Let me take you all. Okay, so we're having a pool party.
Okay.
And we were having a pool party. Okay, so I'm probably about 11, 12. Me and my best friend James at the time.
Adolescent.
Can we also talk about that TikTok? I can do this. My ADHD isn't gonna get me.
I don't have Adderall today, so we both have to bring it in.
Oh, you don't have your medis?
No.
Okay.
I forgot to take them.
Reminder: if you have meds, take them.
Yeah, don't forget to take your meds and drink some water.
Oh, have some water or some caffeine.
To your body. Maybe both. Probably both.
Both. I like to have them. I like to, one for hydration, one for recreation.
Yeah, one for caffeination.
And one for pure world domination.
Caffeination.
That's
the say. I just said it and you didn't listen.
Can we say caffeination? Like this is the caffeinated nation?
No. Also, we are so lost in the sauce already.
Okay, let me tell you guys about the time I lost my toenail. So anyways, we're having a pool party. I'm probably 10, 11, 12, somewhere in my adolescence. We're at my parents' house, as we would be because that's where I grew up and where I lived.
That's how childhood
we're having
works.
a pool party. There were a lot of people over. I don't remember what the occasion was. Probably just summer good time vibes. And my friend and I were going in my room to, I think, go play video games or something.
Very Aaron.
And we were like rushing. I don't remember what we were rushing for. We used to roughhouse all the time because we were children.
Yeah.
Also, keep in mind,
you
my
love
friend.
rushing everywhere too.
My friend was like 2 feet taller than me.
Yeah.
And like probably 75 pounds stronger than me. So my spindly, twiggly little body. So we're rushing down this really narrow hallway. And before you go to my room is on the left. And then there's the closet. The closet door, yes. And so we're roughhousing, and he pushes me into it, and my foot, because we were wet from swimming, slips under the, my nail catches the underside of the door, and it just, like a car, like a crack point. And I don't know why we thought the smartest thing to do was, because normally you soak it to get it off, we said, oh, well, the pool's a big fucking thing.
Whoa.
So I said, I'll go jump in the pool.
Oh, no.
That was a pain I have not experienced
Did you
since.
cry?
Oh, I said, I can't do this. I'm getting out. I'm getting out. So I have like half a nail.
Also, ew, that you put all of your blood and like juices in the pool.
It wasn't bloody. I don't remember it being bloody. Well, until it fell off.
Yeah, there's no way. It had to have been.
It didn't feel good.
You probably just blocked that out of your memory a little.
It didn't feel good, I'll tell you that.
Oh, pumpkin.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for your little toe. No wonder you're...
Oh, is that why my big toe's all...
Don't
make fun of them. Don't make fun of my dogs. Do not make fun of my dogs.
You just have very unique toenails, my love.
I have my grandmother's toenails. She used to have to go to the doctors actually to get her toenails clipped because they actually... Like, I'm not even exaggerating... A C, like a literal perfect C shape.
Also, too, there was a TikTok that I saw a while ago from, she's an RN. I can't remember her name. I think her first name is Jen. I don't remember what her last name is, but she made a TikTok a while ago. I think we watched it together.
Okay. Is it Hamilton?
Hamilton, yes.
I remember that. I remember that.
Good one. Good catch, fucking. But she made a TikTok talking about hot husband birth control. She was like, otherwise I would be pregnant with babies all the time.
He's sweaty.
So
he's sweaty.
She was like, God has to give people things.
Everyone needs an Achilles heel. It's true.
It's Achilles.
Achilles.
It's not Achilles.
Achilles.
Chilaquiles.
Like that. Yeah, that's what I think of.
No. But I think that's one of yours. Not that I'm gonna get pregnant.
That I have bad toes?
That your toenails are weird. Yeah.
People are gonna be thinking I have like fucking hag toenails or like fucking velociraptor fucking hook.
No. They just, I think especially the one that you injured, it grew back with like the weird shape.
Speaking of a weird shape, my toenail, my big foot, that same foot has a weird like kidney bean shaped like black spot.
That's what I'm referring to.
Where did it grow from? How did it grow there?
I don't know. It's nail trauma.
But it's growing out.
So,
but I haven't been traumatized
There was
recently.
a period of time, I'm really going to expose myself here. There was a period of time where I was really into like pimple popping videos.
Oh my God. Like, that had why did that have such a chokehold?
I don't know.
On Facebook,
I don't know.
on everything. Like,
but part of it was like ingrown toe.
I can't.
Or ingrown toenail removals. I know you don't like them, but I did actually learn a lot about like the structure of your nails because the doctor would like explain why things happen and whatever. Of course. And when you like traumatize your nail or like hurt it, especially like at the root where it grows out, it will always grow that way. And so that's why like getting like ingrown toenails clipped like surgically at like the root.
Oh, I've had
that's why you're supposed to do that if you have like recurrent problems with it, because like the idea that you can like retrain your toenails is like not really a thing. So if you have like a really severe,
they're gonna grow how they're gonna grow no matter what.
Especially if you traumatize like I can't remember what it's called, but the little like the bit where it like connects to your actual skin.
Like magic.
Yeah, if you damage that, it's just gonna grow weird forever, and so that's why doctors will clip it and like surgically remove it at like the little root so that it will grow normal and you don't have issues with it.
Speaking of nails, can we talk about that one video about the fingerless gloves or whatever that we just watched? But also the Drew Follow.
I think it's Afuelo.
I'm really bad with names, but
she doesn't really say her last name out loud very often.
Sister, I think that was her sister.
Yeah, that's her little sister.
Was talking about the fingerless gloves or whatever, right?
Yeah, she said, I wish that they would make gloves that had a little slit for my fingernails because they're really long.
But I get the slit part. Like, I understand the slit. Like, I think that'd be cool if they had, like, they're not fingerless gloves, but, like, gloves with, like, little
just
slits.
a little slit in them.
Just for little nails.
Yeah, that's
so you can
valid.
still clickety-clackety, but you can still have your hands still be warm and taken care of.
That's valid. I just don't think I could ever function with nails like that, though, is the problem.
I cannot believe you used to get...
I was going to say, I know that I couldn't because I used to have really long acrylic nails.
Yeah.
Like, really long. Not as long as they are now, but, like, probably like too long to be fashionable back then, but I really liked them being that long.
I have to say though, like I am such a sensory, like I have a lot of sensory things, obviously, like chapped lips. Like if my lips start getting chapped and you're like talking to me, just forget I'm not even on this plane of existence.
All over.
I have
now my
ascended
lips
to
feel
somewhere.
chapped.
Oh, I'll get you some here in just a second. Do you want me to do it right now? If I do it right now, though, I might lose my train of thought.
It's okay. Keep going.
So like sensory stuff though, and so like obviously, like I used to keep my nails super short, obviously too, because it's like for dirt and grime and dust and stuff.
You don't get junk in them.
And but like playing guitar, I am like on another. Like I cut them so short now. I actually hurt myself because I'm like,
pumpkin,
cut it shorter.
You gotta be careful.
But yeah, I think that was not what I needed for my
I don't think
like
so either.
sensory.
Also, you know, listening to you talk about that just now, I had a realization.
Is it the baby Bjorn thing again?
No.
Oh, okay, tell me.
Baby Bjorn thing.
Yeah, we talked about the strapping the baby. Like I don't think I can carry the baby around.
Yeah, no. I saw a TikTok about baby carrying.
Yeah.
And we had the realization that with my neck and back issues, I probably never would have been able to baby wear because I can't even wear a lanyard. Yeah. You know.
Can you imagine not having a breast reduction and still having to carry a child?
No, because also my boobs would have been even bigger. But like truly, like I can't wear racer back tank tops. I can't wear lanyards or necklaces. Like it hurts.
How do people just wear lanyard? Like even in high school, I'd be like, how are you guys just wearing that around your neck? I'm like, I don't care what the rules are. I'm not wearing this.
No, it hurt me. So like I really don't think I would have been able to baby wear. And you would have ended up having to be the baby wearing one for all of those situations.
I know. Also, I don't know how I know you would get used to the puke and stuff. But I don't know if I'm built like that. I'm happy to say I don't know if I'm built like that. I do
though, because our dogs puke all the time.
And it doesn't bother me.
No, it bothers me a lot though.
No, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, but I think you were like never really that way though.
What do you mean?
Like I have always been really sensitive to puke.
Oh, you always have been. Yes, that is true. That is true.
Like there is no point in the last 10 years, 12 years of us owning pets that I have become desensitized to puke at all or poop.
No,
or pee.
That's fair.
It makes me... Yeah, we won't talk about it because I don't want to trigger anybody, but it is not my thing.
Yeah.
The realization that I had, wow, look at me remembering things.
You don't even need
your
meds
holdover
anymore.
Adderall from yesterday.
You can tell your psychiatrist now, you're like, I'm literally perfect. I don't even need them.
I'm changed for life. No, because you were talking about how your nails are super short, and I was like, mine have been really long lately, and they're bothering me. But you know why?
Because you haven't been chewing on them.
Yes, and do you know why I haven't been chewing my nails off?
Honestly? No, I don't.
Because I'm not as anxious.
Why aren't you as anxious anymore?
Because I am taking ADHD medication. Because I'm having to think less hard about not forgetting every single thought that enters my brain. We might have talked about this on the pod before, but the like de-influencing ADHD trend is like one of my favorite things. Oh, because
can you explain that real quick to me? Yeah.
Yeah. So people are making these videos right now where they're basically like de-influencing ADHD in the hope of presenting a more like realistic like
as
representation of what the disorder is like.
If you breathe and drink water, you probably have ADHD kind of a thing.
Yes, and also that a lot of it is like, oh, it's so quirky and fun, right? And like, sure, I think there is an aspect of neurodivergency that is quirky and fun and like unique, but also it's debilitating a lot of the time. And so like for me, this would show up in being constantly hypervigilant about my schedule and about time and like writing things down everywhere, all over the place. Like my notes app is filled with gobbledygook and I have like a notepad that's filled with chicken scratch because I just forget everything. And it stresses me out so much because I'm like, this happens all the time where I will be like, oh my God, I have a Zoom meeting that I completely forgot about. Right. Like I will wake up at like, normal time, 8:30, 9 o'clock, whatever, and be like, okay, I have a Zoom meeting at 10 o'clock today. Don't forget. And it will be like 9:55. And from 9:50 to 9:55, different planet. I completely forgot. I'll be sitting in my office in front of my computer at 9:50, being like, okay, I have this Zoom meeting at 10 o'clock. And then in 5 minutes time, I'm like, making stuff on Canva, and I'm just like, like talking to you, and you're like, you have a meeting in 5 minutes, dude. Like, I'm like, I thought you were just pushing it. Close that window, and I'm like, oh my God, like I completely get out. Yeah, I completely forgot, and so I think I'm less anxious about not remembering things, which means I'm chewing my fingernails off less.
Oh my God, I have found so many less contacts now that I think about it.
Yeah, I do also do that. I take my contact lenses out.
I feel like you know what's so funny too is I haven't had to pick up glasses, like water glasses and stuff in a very long time.
Yeah, because I'm putting them in the
I
sink.
am having so many realizations now.
Who am I? I know.
Also, I've been doing a lot less chores lately, and I think that's why too.
Yes, I also have not had to buy claw clips in months because
you don't know where they are.
Well, because I'm not losing them anymore.
Yeah.
I'm putting them back where they go.
Genuinely incredible.
I know.
Oh my God.
This would happen to me all the time too, where I'd find like claw clips or hair ties or like accessories and stuff like in my backpack that had been there.
Can we just talk about though, like how different your experience in school would have been?
Oh,
if you would have been allowed to be not allowed, but like I guess like,
allowed to exist be medicated the way I was. Yeah,
or like not like you needed to be medicated, but like to help
you if somebody had helped
succeed
me.
And like I mean you're already really good at school and like education and stuff like that. Also I also just wanted to add too, because that reminded me that the fat liberation video, we'll post a link to that up here.
Thank you.
Was in your notes for months. And then you just like, we're like, oh, we need to come up with idea. We were brainstorming as we do.
You were doing content ideation,
and Mickey was like, oh my God, I have this entire outline in my notes. And I was like, why have we not filmed
First of all, it wasn't the fat liberation video that happened. It was the boy mom video that I was like, oh my God, this is a completely finished video that we never filmed.
Yeah.
What is wrong with me?
Oh, but then that was next to it, wasn't it?
Yes, and then the fat liberation video was like started, but not finished. And I was like, I need to finish this. And then from that point to like finished product was like maybe 3 weeks.
That is crazy.
Where we like wrote the outline and filmed and edited and did the whole thing. Maybe a month, actually. Probably closer to a month.
Definitely a month.
But still, we just plowed right through that whole video. That's also why it's been a little bit messy here lately, because we just have a lot of stuff going on.
Totally.
I've been forgetting things. So
Speaking of mess, playing Pal World with everyone yesterday
was so
actually
fun.
So shout out if you want to join the Discord. We have an official Pal World server now that you can come. It is active all the time.
All the time. Yeah. If you're a Discord member already too, you can go and play Pal World with whoever.
There's a Pal World channel in the Discord that you can go and find all the information you need to get onto the server.
It's like a multiplayer game situation, but you don't have to we don't have to be online in order for you guys to play it.
Yes.
Which is really fun.
But that was so much fun.
I had the best time.
Absolute chaos.
Truly. You were saying too after we finished that it reminded you of being a kid, and I feel
like playing World of Warcraft and
because I couldn't really put my finger on it, but after you said that, I was like, that's very much the case.
I hope I hope they add like raid bosses and stuff though, because like there was just something about a time where also looking back on it now too, it's so funny to think that I was friends with all these like adults and stuff. But like doing raids and stuff because you'd have to get a group. And also I was telling one of my friends about you don't know what Ventrilo is, do you?
No.
Okay, so there was this application. It was literally Discord without any of the channels or any of the text stuff.
That's really funny.
Yeah, it was voice over internet service or internet
like
provider.
Like a little walkie-talkie situation.
Yeah, but so you'd have to have a headset and stuff, and then we'd all talk in Ventrilo.
That's so sweet.
And like do raids and stuff, and they were very like World of Warcraft. Like they used to actually be hard.
Yeah,
and you had to like coordinate, and like it would be between you either have like 10-person ones or 25-person ones.
Wow.
But can we also talk about how crazy it is to think that you could get 25 people all on at the same time to play for hours. Like we used to, I used to get in trouble a lot because it would be like 1 o'clock in the morning. Because Friday we would raid on Fridays.
So funny.
And my mom would be like, Aaron, it's time to go to bed, because my computer was in the living room.
Yes.
And I'm like, Mom, we're like, I can't, like 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes.
That's really funny. And I think especially because like that was the time where it became a thing where like I can't pause this game. Like, our parents didn't understand what online gaming was.
Yeah,
like if they understood video games at all. And so like
works.
Yeah, trying to explain like I can't just pause and start again tomorrow.
Yes.
Like this is happening right now. Like I have to stay here.
I will say though, every time though, like I used to be, the words per minute thing though. Let me fucking tell you, I will always.
Such
and everyone at work is like, why are you typing so fast? Like, why are you going so hard? And I was like, I
can't help it.
I was like, it's either you type fast or you die.
Don't
like,
type at all. Yeah. You're so funny. It almost is like a muscle memory thing. Like you can't type effectively if you have to type slow.
No, I'm like
have
if you
to
ask
type
me where
fast.
everything is on the keyboard too, I'm like, can you visualize a keyboard layout? Like all of it?
Like a fair amount of it, yeah.
I don't know where anything is. I just know it's vibes and I know exactly where it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have to think really hard about it. But also, we discovered this the other day, it was a while ago, that I don't use both of my hands when I type.
Crazy.
Because this hand will do like the home row keys thing in like this situation, but this hand is like all over the place. And so I type like this.
Yeah,
and it drives you fucking bananas.
You couldn't
I think
teach
it's
someone
so
that
funny.
if you wanted. You'd be like, why? Why?
It's almost like part of my brain went to school to do the home row keys thing, and the other part of my brain was just like,
it's giving you right brain, left brain energy.
No, it really is.
One is like
my creative hand.
Speaking of creative hands, what is the topic even
We're
today?
We're talking about Love is Blind.
Love is Blind today. Recap.
Yes. I'm really excited about it because this season I was a little nervous that it was going to be stale and boring. And like, to be fair, it is in a way.
But also not in a way, I think.
But there's been a lot of interesting goings-ons. To be fair, a good amount of them are like traumatizing and shitty. But it has
expect nothing less.
Well, it's given us, I think, an interesting opportunity to talk about some really important stuff. And you've been there for a fair amount of the streams.
I know I've been able to catch most of the streams this time. This has been really fun.
Also, shout out to our balloons because Aaron got them for
I
the
bought
stream.
These. I just, you gotta get. I filled them up with the nice helium, so I'm gonna use them as long as I can. Yeah, we only have one. Also, I'm just waiting. I know this is really fucked up to say, but I really want to watch one pop on stream.
Oh my God.
And scare you a little bit.
That's terrible.
I know,
also,
but I
don't think they're going to pop.
You don't think they're going to pop?
They're going to deflate.
Yeah, one's already started.
They're already squishy.
Yeah.
In order for them to pop, they'd have to be like...
I don't want to touch it.
Yeah, don't do that.
Because then I'll scream and fry.
Yeah. Also, can we talk about how traumatizing that would be for everybody on stream? That would freak everyone the fuck out. It would, because it would be the thing too where like...
You don't think it'd be muffled by the mic because it's farther away?
No, because what would happen is that it would be me scaring everyone. Because I would get scared and the mic might duck the noise of the balloon, but I would scream and then it would scare everybody. And then also too, because there's a delay with YouTube streaming, I would be over it and fine. And everybody else in the chat would be like, "Whoa!" freaking out.
The delay is such a trip.
I know, it's really funny.
Okay, well, I don't want it to happen now. Now I feel bad for saying it.
Yeah, it will scare everybody.
I'm sorry for potentially wishing that I wanted everyone to get scared. I apologize.
That is very much
bad now.
Well, that's very much our way, though.
Speaking
of
scary,
poke and prod at each other all the time.
What was that Matthew shit?
Oh my God, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about today. Is the Matthew situation. So, to what degree are you aware of the Matthew situation?
I think first, do you need chapstick, by the way?
Yes. Oh my God.
Let me get that for you.
Thank you.
Oh, here, I'll show my shirt real quick.
Oh, it's so cute. Oh my God. Shout out to Alex at Gender Shredder for the t-shirt because it's kind of a long story. I talked about it on my Instagram. But basically what happened is that we are collecting footage for Cat Cam for the streams. And I told the folks in Discord, if you want your pet included during the Cat Cam montage, you can send it to me. And one of the folks who sent us footage let me know that they have a clothing brand called Gender Shredder, which is a queer and trans-owned skate brand. And they said, I would love to send you some stuff. And I was like, that's very nice of you, but I would love to just buy some stuff and support you instead.
Like, as it should be.
Yes. Especially because they're a small business.
Offering, though, of course. And
yes, no, of course we appreciate you. But also, like, when it's a small business and it's like a queer-owned business, like, I don't want you to send me free stuff, you know? Or like, you shouldn't have to. So I bought some stuff and a little snuck some free stuff in there. And so
I got a shirt.
Alex
Thank you.
sent us a Protect Trans Kids
perfectly.
shirt for Aaron. It's very, very cool. My Gender Shredder shirt is over there. We're wearing it for the other episode. But
sounds perfect.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you guys are looking for a queer, trans-owned clothing brand with some sick-ass, like, non-binary and gender-affirming fits.
It's pretty fucking sick, honestly.
Definitely check out Gender Shredder. But Matthew situation.
Okay, we're locked in from the rest of the episode now. So everyone, we're on rails, we're on tracks, we're good to go.
Bumpers.
So my understanding of the situation is this very, I'll use the word analytical. Man came on the show who is not used to expressing himself, and had a list of questions. Very bad at I would not call him a conversationalist.
No.
Essentially was using the same formula.
Yes.
On two separate women.
Correct.
Who ended up actually liking him apparently. And then they found out that he was doing the exact same things.
Correct.
And saying the same exact things to both of them.
To both of them.
And one of them told the other. Or they kind of like mutually discovered it together.
Yes.
And then they kind of did they both call him? I didn't get to see this part.
Okay.
So they both called him out then. And then he said, someone left the show and he said, I'm going to go chase them.
Basically.
Okay.
So the situation is as follows. Matthew is the man in this equation. There was this like supercut at the beginning of the episodes of him doing this questionnaire thing, very like Girl Defined esque.
It was
of like, these are my questions for you. Somebody actually asked him like, oh, what about you? Like, what's your answer to this question? And he's like, oh, I didn't really anticipate being on the other end of this. Like, what?
And then left.
Yeah, he walked out on more than one person in the pods, sort of like eye rolling and just being really rude and judgmental. If edited it
like that, or if he actually did it in that.
It's entirely possible that Netflix edited it to be shady, but we know for sure that he walked out on at least one person because we saw a clip of her being like, hello, and then there being nobody there. So yeah, Netflix can't make people do things. You know, they can edit it in a shady way, but like he did still.
But also to the women being like, oh, I'm so glad he left. Like, thank God.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like from the beginning, we weren't really batting 1,000. It wasn't really giving like genuine care or compassion
at all,
at least. But so he manages to forge connections with these two women, Amber and AD.
Yes.
And the first clip that we see is of him talking to AD, who later, spoilers, by the way, if you haven't watched the first 6 episodes.
You can check the live stream. It's right here.
Yeah, we did. We watched all of them live. But so AD ends up eventually getting engaged to Clay, which is a whole other situation. We'll talk about that later.
Oh my goodness.
But at the time, AD was sort of waffling back and forth between Matthew and Clay, and AD asks him something, and Matthew basically throughout the course of this conversation tells AD, I wish that I could ask your father for your hand in marriage. Like, I want to propose to you, but I would like to ask for your dad's hand or whatever. First of all, weird fucking vibes. It's just gross. The like your dad owns you thing.
Who gives a fuck?
Just exactly.
Like
some people care about it and that's fine, but like generally speaking, it's a problematic expectation.
Unless I knew that was like really important to the person I was pursuing, or else I wouldn't get married again. Let's be real.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. It's just a very repressive and misogynistic ideal that like ultimately your consent to get married is not what matters. It's your dad's. Like, it conveys a sense of ownership and it devalues someone's personhood, which is
it's
gross.
Very patriarchal and like...
Yeah. I don't know.
Antiquated,
I know that some people just find it sweet or whatever. And I think for some people at this point, it's become more of a like tradition thing than it is like actually asking permission.
Totally.
But it's still weird to me and I don't like it.
Like, I think it's nice to have the blessing and stuff or whatever, I guess. But also too, like, if they said no, I'd be like, well, I'm still going to do it anyways, and like, what's the point in like
exactly?
But also, if like that was a deal breaker, then I'd be like, I don't want to be in a relationship.
Yes,
we could have a whole video about it. Honestly,
yeah, we could talk about that forever. But so he says that to her, and AD speaks about how her dad is no longer alive. Her dad passed, I think, a couple of years ago, is what she said.
I didn't know. I didn't catch this either.
Yeah, and so he, from my memory, he just sort of like breezed past that disclosure. He wasn't like super
like in tune.
No, he wasn't like particularly receptive or like supportive. And so she, I think, was kind of put off by that. And then later on in the pods, I don't remember, or not the pods, the like women's quarters area. I don't remember exactly how this went down, but it does come to light that the questions that Matthew was asking AD were like strikingly similar to the questions that he had been asking this other woman named Amber.
Yeah.
And so we get footage of them separately putting these pieces together. It's like the sitcom thing though, where no one talks to each other and it's infuriating. It was so frustrating for like a good little while until we finally fucking got on the same page. Yeah. And eventually Amber and AD sit down to have this conversation. They're comparing notes. Amber was kind of like the last to know. And Amber was obviously really upset about this because she was like, he asked me the exact same questions. And so they're comparing notes. And it was like a really nice moment of the women being like, I'm so sorry that this happened to you. Like, you don't deserve this. And like, we were centering our frustration on the man in this equation instead of doing the like, you stole my man thing. My God, which was really nice to not see them fighting with each other. Yes, exactly. So that all happens. Amber at that point is like, I'm just going to go.
Like, I mean, like, that would ruin it for me.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think the people in the pod should be like, when they go back and they separate from being in the pods together and they're in the communal areas with their, the do you think they should be discussing and disclosing who they're like?
Yes.
Like, because I feel like everyone keeps it a secret, which just ends up fucking everyone in the end.
Well, okay, and this is the other thing. We've talked on the pod before about how gossip gets a bad rap, mostly because of misogyny.
Because it shouldn't.
Because gossip is a protective communal behavior.
And it's tasty and good for you.
That too. But it can help to expose people who are liars, who are dishonest, or like for people to just have a better understanding communally of like, we
social
need to be aware
norms,
of that person.
Yes. And like setting
yes. Yes. And I think like I understand to a degree with Love is Blind, it's tricky because
it is tricky,
people
definitely.
do start to get competitive and
How
like
could you not?
Pissy with each other.
Yeah.
Fair. But also at the same time, I don't know. I think especially knowing that people like, like Damien from season 1 and even the Barnett love triangle situation, Cole and who was the other one that like really pissed people off in like season Uche definitely. Whatever. I can't remember some of the Bartice.
Oh,
just like all of these problematic men who ended up being at the epicenter of some really traumatizing stuff for a lot of the women. Like how much of that could have been avoided if people were comfortable just disclosing up front, like, this is what this man is saying to me, or like, especially when they do the thing of like, oh, I'm not telling anybody else this, or like the red flag for me with several of the men, Jimmy included, was the like, you're not going to tell anyone else I said this, are you?
Because Matthew said that, right?
Matthew said that and Jimmy said that.
Oh, Jimmy said that too?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Because there's a conversation between Jimmy and Chelsea on the honeymoon where he's like, and I told you not to tell. And she was like, I didn't. And then she's like, well, I did tell one person. I whispered it to one person.
Got it. We're going to have to get into that because I haven't even got to watch that bit. But
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole situation.
I just had like 8 thoughts come to mind. Go,
I know.
Go.
But anyways, I think the point of that is just to say that I think it would be nice to see people communicating with each other more because we could avoid a lot of problematic situations and a lot of like shitty men being uplifted and being put at the center. Oh, we had such a great conversation about this in the car the other day too.
You say it.
Do you remember this?
Yeah, say it. Go. Go.
We were talking about the phenomenon of the love triangle thing and how it's always men.
Oh, we did have such a good conversation about this. Keep talking.
Yes.
Go.
And I think this is such an interesting commentary about the dating norms that, like, to use binary terms, men and women are subjected to.
Yes.
Because the thing, I was just talking about how, like, isn't it so odd that it's always the men who are, like, acting like they're just, oh, it's so impossible for me to make a decision. I could never choose, blah, blah, blah. And I really think it's because for the first time in a dating situation, these men are experiencing what it's like.
To have options.
Yes.
To have
Whereas,
choice.
like, basically non-men on dating apps often have the experience where like multiple people are talking to you or you have like multiple matches or like just a fair amount of attention on dating apps.
Let's just be real, the 99 plus thing.
Yes. And so we become somewhat adept at like making judgments relatively quickly about like not a safe person, not my type, not into it. Maybe it's fine, but it won't last long. And just sort of like moving people out of the way and also like communicating that to people, right? That like after a first date, listen, it's fine. You know, I thank you, but I just don't think we're a match. Moving on. But men don't really experience this because of like the scarcity mindset thing. And so it almost is like these men are like high on the juice of being like having options for the first time in their lives.
And I think honestly too, I don't even know if I would find, I guess just to like personalize it too. And I guess just to give anyone solace, because like online dating is like, I have as a person
terrible.
Who, and I'm not even trying to like suck myself off or anything, but I have almost never met someone who I wanted to be attracted to me in person, and I couldn't like.
No, like you have game. It's fine. You can admit that.
I have zero play on dating apps.
It's so hard.
And also too,
dating
like my Scarlet Letter, the poly, like if I had $1 for every time, I was like. Also, my favorite part is too because I have it in my dating profile, and people are like, "Oh, what's polyamory?" And I'm like, dog, it's 2024. What do you mean?
But also Google it, babe.
Yeah, and then oh, I don't like that. And then unmatch. I'm like, why did you do this in the first place?
Just Google it then.
No, but I think this has, especially for these men who are just so mid.
Yes.
Yes. Also, even looks aside, I'm not even talking about that, but just the way they interact with people that they are supposedly supposed to be interested and attracted in is rancid.
Yes. Well, we've talked about this before because people like your friends and people that you work with and whatever.
I know regularly they're like, I didn't know Aaron.
I didn't know Aaron had game like that. And I'm like, first of all, it's not because Aaron's like the hottest man on the face of the earth, which don't get me wrong, I think you're a smoke show.
Thanks. It's these buns.
But the thing that I tell everybody about like dating or like making friends or whatever is that if you want to be interesting, you should be interested. And you are so good at like actually caring about people and their lives and their feelings. And I think it's like kind of disarming for people sometimes, honestly.
I've never
because you're like genuinely you're not just asking like how's your day? You know, like you actually ask people. You're like really good at asking people meaningful and interesting questions. I think
more than once, more than one hand, I've been told like, wow, I've never talked this much on a date before, and I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, this is like, what do you mean?
Yes.
I'm like, oh my god.
This is also why I give everybody the talk at the end of all the Love Is Blind streams. That like all of our standards, like we need to raise them up.
Not based on me, to be clear. Like I definitely very much have my.
No, of course, yeah. You're a flawed person, just like everybody else. It's not like we haven't had our messy fights and like
I'm
hurts
messy,
and
messy.
wounds. Yeah, we've definitely.
I'm a
wounded.
messy Virgo.
That's fine. We've definitely wounded each other in our lifetime because we're people. But I think just not accepting, for example, Matthew style behavior where like I'm going to ask everybody the exact same question, and regardless of what their response is, I'm going to give them the exact same response.
Yeah.
Like this man cares so little about the actual people that he's dating, and it really does feel like the slot machine thing. We've talked about this with dating apps before.
Oh, totally.
But like the thing of like, I want to win, right? I want to feel like,
he was trying to get
like
done
a
quick,
valuable
too.
male. And so
it felt like he was trying to fast track this.
Yes, because he was.
Yeah.
He was here to find a person, not the person.
Yes.
And like that's a big difference, which we've talked about on the show a lot. Love Is Blind does attract a certain demographic, and the probability of somebody being interested in a warm body as opposed to their partner or soulmate is pretty high.
Yeah.
Matthew was definitely that person.
But then can we also talk about like Trevor, like out of left field?
Okay.
This is the torn thing. Like him and Jess, to me, I'm like, damn, I'm confused now.
I know. I know.
Go on.
So I said this on stream too. First of all, the people who don't get picked or like partnered.
Oh.
Ultimately, when we talk about Love Is Blind, those people are the real winners.
I think they have a better, because also too now like talk about having your pick of the litter.
Yes,
because now you just
their
had
DMs are flooded.
You just had an advertisement.
Yes,
for
what a great person you are to date. But on top of that, they don't have to do the very traumatizing rigmarole of like engagement and dates and meeting the family and getting married.
And doing it all while on camera.
On TV, yeah. Yes. But on top of that, the other thing that we talked about too is that I struggle so much with this season specifically.
Okay, tell me.
Because it's so sad to see somebody like Trevor, who seemed like, first of all, he was a really genuinely good match for Chelsea. But like he was really sweet and kind.
He handled
and like
it so
he took that rejection like a champ, which again, let's be clear that the bar is in hell. But somebody not being violent because they're being rejected is like so sad that that's even a bar for the show. But it is. And he handled it really maturely and kindly. But also then I'm like, this man is probably a conservative who would happily vote for someone who would eradicate my rights, like as a human being. And so I'm like, like I'm really sad that he got his feelings hurt because like he seems like he's a nice person. But then also at the same time, I'm like,
you're real people.
Would you hate crime me?
Yeah.
If given the chance, Or like, would you turn a blind eye to somebody else hate criming me if you had the opportunity? I
know. This is why
it's
life is very gray, and I just want to put everyone in a box, but you can't.
It's very conflicting.
I know, because that's like how I felt about Jess. That was the moment. That was everything that ever should have been said on a reality dating show. Like, there are so many women who have been in relationships on these shows that should have just like had that speech written out. Like, she should be writing like breakup speeches.
I have this clip queued up, by the way, if you want to watch it again.
Can we watch it without getting yeeted off the fucking YouTube platform.
Listen to it probably. But the thing I talked about on stream too is that I think so many of us resonated with that speech that she gave.
Yeah.
Because like there is not a person on earth who hasn't experienced this with like a mediocre man. Like if you have experiences with a mediocre man, there's not a person on earth who hasn't like wished that they could go back and like give this speech. And I think it's just like the emotional catharsis of like actually watching somebody do it when you wish that you had done it in your own life.
Also,
you
can
know?
we just talk about if I could every time I hear a man say I don't want a strong, or like I want a strong woman, and then like gets any pushback and is like, whoa, I didn't like that. Also, basically Jimmy's whole decision to whether he liked her or not, the kid beside and everything too, was because she was a little mean to him and held him a little accountable the date before, and he said, I can just imagine like, what a fucking bummer. Like, what a ball and chain.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
What a nag.
It really is the exotic bird in a cage thing.
Like,
I want to have a strong and independent woman in like the shackles of a relationship with me, but I don't actually want her to be that way with me.
Yeah.
Yes. It reminds me of that Casey Musgrave song, Breadwinner.
Yeah.
That like he likes that you're sparkly until he can't like use it anymore, basically.
Don't love country, but I love Casey.
Same.
Absolutely incredible.
To be fair, hers is sort of like in between like pop and country, I think. Yeah.
Whatever she's doing it right.
Yes, she's doing it well. But yeah, I think that whole speech was like the thing we all needed to process our breakups with mediocre men.
Also,
what?
Yeah. You want to cue it up?
Let's listen to it.
Do the Bluetooth, or do you want to just do it on your phone?
No, we'll do it through Bluetooth.
Okay, excellent.
We'll just listen to it.
I told someone else because I got the clarity I needed after our date.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm absolutely devastated. I'm more than heartbroken. But you know what? There is going to be something better for me, and it is not you.
I do think it's unfair to say I had my mind made up yesterday, because I didn't. If I am really worked up about something and I'm emotionally not on the top of my game, I need someone that can help me with that.
You're right.
Something I lacked.
Yep, you're totally right. If you need someone to hold your hand and guide you and coddle you, she will never be me, and she'll never be a woman like me. When you see and realize what you missed out on, you are going to choke. You're going to choke. You are going to need your EpiPen to open up your airways, because you are going to be in disbelief of what you missed out on. Thank you for the experience, and truly, Jimmy, God bless you.
God bless.
So good.
Oh
every
my
time.
Goosebumps.
The righteous
There's no
anger.
way. You cannot tell me she didn't write that, because she dropped bars on him.
I hope she did. I hope she did.
That was so good.
Yes, and I'm so proud of her.
There is nothing, and I say this, I think this is one of your most attractive qualities to me, and I think this says more about me than it does about you, and not in a good way, but the intelligence and the creativity that a scorned and righteously angry woman person has. And like the things you say, like genuinely, there was a time in couples therapy that you weren't like laying into me per se. I don't even remember what we were talking about, but you said the funniest thing, and we were all like, this was a very heavy, not a funny haha moment. And literally all three of us, after you finished that last line, me, our therapist, and Mickey, dying laughing, just like rolling over. Like the whole situation had been diffused, not really, but like also, Jess,
Jessica,
right?
Yeah.
Is it Jessica?
Yeah.
Just absolutely like,
same energy,
not that you would need any applause from me or whatever or anything, but like thank you for doing that, because I think there's a lot of women out there that have been in relationships with men that probably were like, after you get done with something, you're like, oh damn, I wish I would have fucking said that.
Yes, the shower thoughts later.
Yes.
I
absolutely incredible.
The other thing about it too that's really interesting to me is that there's a lot of hullabaloo on like social media and in popular media about how to accurately represent what female rage looks like, which again, like is a binary term, but you get it.
Whatever. Not whatever to it, but like.
Yeah, you get the point though. And I think this was like actually a really good representation of what it looks like, which is not, because oftentimes when people represent female rage in media, they represent it in the way that men think.
Which it's not.
Anger looks like, right? Which that's not what it looks like.
It's calm, it's collected.
Yes.
It's poignant.
It's sharp and it's cutting and it's clear and very intelligent.
You cannot
but also
misconstrue
fucking mean. Like it's so
and as it should be,
but in the best way.
Yeah.
Though, which I think was so nice to see that like actually represented accurately for once. And I think that's another aspect of why. I slid down in my chair and was like, I can't believe this is happening.
I wish I was there.
I know. But it's so cathartic to see somebody like fully let loose like that. Yeah.
God, it's like an avalanche almost. Yes. And then like this calm, quiet after. Yes.
Yeah. Jessica walked so that we could run.
The worst part was too, that motherfucker didn't even pick up on what she because they didn't, the conversation continued. And I was like, did he not hear anything she just said?
Oh, she just left.
Is that, I was thinking another part where she was explaining something to him and I was like, he's not hearing her at all.
He didn't get it at all, I don't think, which is another part of this conversation that's interesting because his like song and dance about how like I didn't have my mind made up and all of this stuff. Like first of all, I don't believe that. But second of all, I don't know that it matters because if this conversation showed us anything, it's that he is not at all on the same communication tier that she is because she spoke so clearly and eloquently about her feelings and her frustrations and like what she was walking away from this situation with. And his takeaway was like, well, I didn't make up my mind yesterday. Sir, hello? Like, were you present for this entire conversation or no?
Genuinely, do you think if Chelsea had not done the thing where she said she looked like Megan Fox, do you think who he would have ended up with would have looked differently, or you think it would have?
Yes. I think so too. Or no, I really do think so. The other thing,
I was like, I didn't say I think so yet, but I was like, I'm there with you, but go on.
The other aspect of the Jimmy Chelsea situation that we have to talk about, though, is the obvious producer interference with the Jimmy Trevor proposal thing. Because the producers got to decide, I think, who she went in the room with.
They have to.
I'm sure assuming that there is a schedule.
I refuse to believe the contestants get any.
Yeah, I don't think that there is just a like pick a door, any door type of situation. And I would be willing to put big money on the fact that they told her you're going in this room first and then that one afterwards, which basically sealed the outcome of who she got engaged to because I think she was going to say yes to the first person that asked. And it just so happened to be fucking Jimmy.
But also too like good for Jess. One.
Yes,
Jess
and
probably
so
already
did Trevor.
Dating someone now.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Yeah. Let's hope so. I'm curious to see if
the
Jess...
kid thing wasn't great, but...
No, actually, that's something we should talk about too.
Like...
Yeah, we talked about this on the lives too, but I do very much disagree with the fact that she didn't openly disclose that because that's not fair. And also kind of reckless in regards to parenting your child.
Yeah.
Like
I learned a lot about from others, like other... like things that I wouldn't have thought about, like with children or having like someone else
because we don't have kids.
Involved as a caretaker.
Yes. Yeah. There's a whole like world of considerations that have to be made for the best interest of your child. And I don't think she was doing that necessarily.
I don't think so either. Can you fill me in a little bit? So, because my favorite part is always the drunken stupor hangout get together when we finally get to see everyone out of the pods. Can you tell me? I didn't get to see any of that.
Yeah.
What's the hot goss on that? What's the tea?
So honestly, it's less like gossip and more like trauma, honestly.
That's not as fun.
I know. Fair warning for this section. We'll probably put a brief trigger warning at the beginning or something. But there was some really rancid ass fucking shit going on.
You told me a little bit about it and I genuinely, I'm like, that's happening?
Yeah.
That happened with like adults?
This section specifically, there's going to be like a content warning or trigger warning for discussions of assault and like bodily autonomy things and also racism and microaggressions and things like that.
Oh, big surprise.
Yeah.
Again.
The whole situation revolved mostly around the absolutely rancid way that people interact with AD because she's the only black woman
I
engaged.
feel like all the interactions you told me about were like surrounded around her. Like why was she just getting the brunt of like, I mean, I know why.
I was going to say, are you really asking that question?
No, I know why.
This season is in North Carolina, and also all of the contestants, except for 2 men and 1 woman, are white.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a secret that there's probably some...
I'm just looking where North Carolina is on the map.
Oh, it's on the East Coast.
I'm from America, and, you know, we went to school in Arizona, so...
Big country. That's so funny.
Big world, lots of smells.
I can picture where North and South Carolina are.
Oh, it's right north of Georgia. Okay.
Yeah. But like the middle part of the country, adrift.
South Carolina, this is not in the middle of the country.
That's what I just said.
Oh, sorry.
I can picture the East Coast, but not the middle part of the country.
All right. Charlotte, North Carolina.
Goose.
Okay. All right, Pumpkin, thank you. Need a little geography lesson real quick.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I mean, the party is messy because it's the like classic, we're all meeting each other for the first time and we're obliterated drunk because Netflix has absolutely no limits on our alcohol consumption.
If I had to imagine how awkward it would be too.
Yeah. It is noteworthy that not really any of the couples meaningfully dated each other's fiancés this
I think that's
season.
very interesting. There was no like, oh, that's what I could have been married to, or
and not really a lot of actually none of the like, just kidding, my first choice rejected me, but I do definitely love you even though you were my second choice.
I'm surprised that bingo card didn't get picked.
I know, because that's happened almost every season, but definitely not this one. So not super noteworthy in that regard, but a lot of the fuckery was happening in the later part of the night when everybody was already drunk. Jimmy was obviously fucking obliterated drunk at this point.
I just can't imagine like meeting your fiance for the first time and being like, I'm going to get
just schmammered. Like, hello? Could not be me. We talked about this
also,
actually.
I don't trust anyone that like that. Like,
yes, we talked about this during this month's patron only lives.
Oh, okay.
But that like alcohol and like weed especially are like a button for me with this now. That like not having full control over my own body is like an anxiety inducing experience.
Yeah, totally.
And so especially like being inebriated now is like really not very fun.
Yeah.
For me. And so I can't even imagine doing that, like being that inebriated in the company of people who I don't know or trust.
No.
I have enough of a hard time and an anxiety response doing it just with you, who like obviously I trust implicitly. I can't imagine doing that with a bunch of strangers.
That I just met while being recorded?
Weird.
Like,
just, I would be out of my skin.
My impression is the cameras aren't hidden either, so I can't imagine they're feeling like unwatched. You know what I'm saying? Like, or unperceived.
But I mean, to be fair, it's probably more of a cultural thing because like we as a culture really normalize binge drinking and, like overconsumption of alcohol as though it's just like a normal part of life when like the truth is that it's actually a really dangerous thing.
I always wonder too if the people they pick for these shows, if they ask them like what their alcohol usage is and stuff too.
Probably, yeah. I would be willing to bet big money that there are no sober people who get moved on to the next phase of casting for Love is Blind. I bet the producers boot those motherfuckers out of there.
They're probably like, you show up hungover, you actually just got extra 5 points.
But yeah, so basically what happens is that first and foremost, Jimmy and Chelsea get engaged. And Jimmy and Chelsea have somewhat of an awkward reveal.
Yeah, the whole time he doth protest too much.
Well, and the speculation right now is that he assumed, at least my speculation anyways, is that he assumed when she said...
Did you say the speculation as
and I was like, no, it's just me. Is that he assumed when she said her celebrity lookalike was Megan Fox, that he heard, I have Megan Fox's body. And what she meant is that I have features on my face that remind other people of Megan Fox. So people say that to me sometimes, especially because she's a flight attendant and she sees people all fucking day, every day, right? But I think that caused some confusion. And so now he's doing the thing where he's like, I'm totally not disappointed that you don't look like Megan Fox. I totally was not expecting to be living
I didn't come on Love is Blind to not get a hot wife.
Yeah, no, exactly. I don't think that he is really being very honest or truthful about that, which also, let's be clear, Chelsea is hot. Like she's an incredibly attractive person.
Absolutely.
And especially as far as like conventional beauty standards go, she's far from ugly, right? However, there's definitely like some awkwardness there. So these two throughout the party are not being super touchy, close, chit-chatty with each other. Yes. What's your question?
Oh, my question is just a statement that either way, regardless of what she looks like, he is still punching out of his
absolutely.
division.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I saw a TikTok. No, it was on the Love is Blind subreddit. Somebody posted a still of his hair and they were like, his barber needs to be stopped.
Oh,
it's just like straight up bald spots.
A real king of queens here. King of
like
queens.
Uneven fade. It's really odd. Anyways, so they're not being super touchy-feely and lovey and whatever. But at one point during the night, Jimmy goes up to Chelsea and makes a comment about AD's body.
Oh.
Basically, he said something positive about her body, but it did feel very objectifying.
I feel like all people have done is objectify her. Even Clay is
her fiance, yes.
Yeah.
Especially fucking Clay.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like immediately from meeting her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
sorry, go on.
That was a bingo square for a reason. The like aggressive PDA where like the man is so obviously pushing at someone's boundaries by grabbing and touching and being just physical before we had that conversation about consent. But anyway, so Jimmy makes this objectifying comment about AD's body. Chelsea is obviously uncomfortable about this and does the thing that, like, I don't know if this is like a drunk white woman thing or like, because we've talked about this before. I'm not going to name names, obviously.
I already know where this is going. Go on. Continue.
Former friends of mine, people who are no longer friends of mine for various reasons, have done this, right? Where like we'll go out together and they'll walk up to a black woman and be like, oh my God, your hair is beautiful. And everybody's like, whoa, don't fucking do that. Like, just, can we not,
don't touch people's hair unless they've specifically.
Yes. Don't touch anybody's hair or body or like anybody's anything, but especially black women. Let's not objectify black women. In the research that I was doing about the fat phobia video, I listened to the audiobook of Sabrina Strings' Fearing the Black Body. And she outlines like the whole history of like the objectification and dehumanization of specifically black women's bodies. And all of that was like coming back to me.
Like flashing with torn.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, it's happening in real time. Just this like literal circus freak show attitude that people have about black women's bodies and like placing them on a pedestal as though their bodies exist separately from their personhood, which is very much the vibes. Because later in the night, then Laura says the thing. This is the trigger warning for implied assault. I
genuinely could not believe you told
Laura
me this.
says a thing about how Laura told her fiance, Jeremy, whose name is spelled like Jeremy Bearimy, by the way.
Is that what you keep saying? It is actually spelled like Jeremy Bearimy?
It's spelled Jeramey.
It is like Jeremy
Bearimy. She tells her fiance, Jeremy, ha, you should bean dip AD. If you don't know what a bean dip is, first of all, it's like a middle school joke.
Like that, right?
Yeah, you like flick someone's boob.
Also, why is that like a bean dip? It doesn't matter. It's a dumb kid thing.
Yeah, because it's made up by children. There may or may not be racist origins to that. I'm not really sure.
They are, like everything. Yeah.
But like, it's not funny outside of like, I don't know, 10-year-old boys also, making fun of each other. Yeah. Like, I don't really, I mean, also, even like, then it's not really funny, but.
And like,
it's like a very adolescent
As growing
joke.
up as an adolescent boy, it was mostly used to like make fun of the fat boys who had like tits basically.
No, it's like fat phobic in nature also.
So like, I can't say it's never happened to me, but.
Fair. But yeah, I was like especially confused because I've never heard of somebody making a joke about doing that to a woman.
I've never heard of anyone saying that in the last like 20 years.
That too, actually.
Like, when you said that, I was like what we used to do when we were in elementary school?
Yeah. Yeah, like children.
Or like, yeah.
I was going to say, we didn't do that.
Well, we didn't. You know what I mean? Like children.
People
like,
would do,
children's.
Truly, I don't understand.
Yeah, like where did.
Or like it reminded me of people snapping my bra straps when I was in middle school.
Like, why is that in your.
That's not funny.
Like, how is that in your head? You could ask me to like.
I don't know.
Do a million things and I would never have.
Picked that one?
Yeah.
Yes,
you know
I
what I'm saying? Like, why is that in your. Like, that's weird.
I don't know.
Go on.
I think what's even weirder, though, is that the person she said it about was the only black woman on the show. Like, why? Why are all of you making such derisive and dehumanizing comments about the only black woman on the show? Like,
it's very loud.
Ew. But of course, she did the white woman thing of like weaponizing her embarrassment and shame to say.
Didn't the person go and tell then or something? Or
yeah. So Jeremy said this while he was sitting with a bunch of the other men, the other fiancés. And Clay, who was AD's fiance, was like, sorry, what? Which, like, we don't like Clay, to be clear.
Of course.
He treats AD really poorly and has some problematic behaviors of his own. But was like, I think, understandably upset when hearing that somebody else made a joke about assaulting his fiance. And so he was upset. And then AD goes to talk to Laura about it, being like, sorry, what the fuck?
Yeah, also get on AD for going and just being like, why did.
Yeah, and so Laura gets all upset and is like, it was just a joke. It was a joke. Like,
doesn't make it better.
Yeah, it's totally fine, whatever. And Laura says, like, it's not a big deal. And AD was like, it is a big deal, though. It actually is a big deal.
Yeah.
And Laura just invalidated her for the entirety of that conversation, completely wrote her off, and also, like, tried to do the, like, I'm weaponizing my discomfort to, like, make everybody else the bad guy thing when actually it's all my fault.
Yeah.
But the conversation ultimately led nowhere. Like, I don't know that she is really going to actually take accountability for that. I would really doubt it.
At that point, too, to even
fair
or drinking too much. Yeah.
But yeah, so she has a conversation with Jeremy about it later, where they're sort of referencing the evening, and she's still being defensive and like committed to invalidating everybody else's feelings about it. So I am not super hopeful about that situation, which is sad too, because them as a couple, Jeremy and Laura, I was like, oh, maybe they're like not super problematic, and like. Then, you know, she outs herself as being an obvious racist.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was like mostly the situation.
Because Jimmy did some stuff with AD too, didn't he? Like,
Yeah. So Jimmy and AD, after he makes that dehumanizing comment about her body, what is her name? Chelsea says that comment out loud. She just says out loud. Yeah, we got sidetracked earlier. She says out loud, repeats the comment that Jamie made to AD, and is like, "Oh my gosh, how do you get a booty like that?"
Oh yeah.
Which AD was like, I don't know. And then Jimmy goes to talk to her and like twirls her around and whatever. And is like obviously trying to flirt with her.
Did he do that in front of Chelsea or?
Yeah. I mean, they're all out like on the beach too. There's not like really like secret keeping.
Like totally.
You know, they're in like a shared public space.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's doing this like very obvious flirting with her thing. And you can see on AD's face how uncomfortable she is, you know?
Yeah.
It just reads as the like, this man won't leave me alone, so I'm going to smile and wave and like hope and pray that it will go away kind of a thing. But Chelsea and Jimmy get into it later after the party because Chelsea says, you know, you
like
hurt
back in their room or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, like you hurt my feelings by not like being around me, and then you're like flirting with AD and all this stuff, and he just straight up invalidated her. Just straight up refused to acknowledge her concerns. Are we surprised? No, but still disappointed. So that's like the summary of all of the first 6 episodes, really.
You did 6 episodes? That is crazy. Yeah, you did, because 3 on Wednesday.
Tell me about it. Obviously, there's stuff that we missed. We didn't even really touch on the Clay and AD situation.
Yeah, I think. But
yeah, the whole thing. This is also, too, why I was so tired when I came home from stream on Friday.
Yeah,
because
Wednesday you weren't too bad.
All of that like traumatizing material happened in the last like half hour.
Oh, they always do that.
So I was like, just
spread out the trauma
for the
next
count.
time, Netflix, please. Like,
truly. Can we maybe not? Cliffhanger if you're gonna, with traumatizing material, please.
So what happens next? So tomorrow, actually, we're streaming the next 3 episodes?
7, 8, and 9.
Okay, and so now are we back in reality? Or
no,
do we still have more vacation fun times?
We still have more honeymoon, I think. And then I'm
we
sure...
have to do group activities and bonding. And...
Yes, and then I'm sure we're going to start real life.
Are we going to have any... Because I know on Married at First Sight, I feel like we always have the couple who there's an activity where someone doesn't want to do the thing, but then they decide to do the thing.
Ziplining thing?
And the person is like, you know, they really came out for me today. Like, they really showed up, and I really... Did you say the hang gliding thing? Or
the ziplining thing.
Ziplining, hang gliding, like anything, like water sports.
Yes.
Well... oh my God.
Not that kind of water sports.
Like water skiing and kayaking and stuff. Not like that.
No, jet skiing.
Also,
scary recreational
I could have just said that normally if we didn't know it doesn't matter.
Listen, also, our Discord server is the horniest place on earth.
Stop taking things I say out of context. That's not really, actually, I think it's quite funny.
It's ruined my brain. If my brain wasn't already in the gutter.
You can tell you're in the Discord more than me because snot has rotted you.
That's where my friends are. No, also, for real, shout out to our Discord server because y'all are really fun. We had a great time playing Power World the other day. Yeah. I'm just excited that our Discord server is like engaging with each other independently.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was my hope from the outset. Like, obviously, I enjoy interacting with everybody personally, but it fills my cold, dead little heart with so much joy seeing people in the body doubling room and like playing games with each other.
Whenever.
Like, basically,
we see you guys. It warms our...
At any hour of the day, basically, you can check and there's people either like body doubling with each other or hanging out or just like playing video games together, chit-chatting or whatever. It's so cool.
Genuinely, I know we talk about this all the time. Other people have said this, but I have not seen a community like this since like the early days of the internet.
It reminds me of like early chat room vibes, except not rancid.
Not rancid, and like everyone's really nice and has good boundaries and looks out for each other. And but first weekend of the month, Patreon. Come hang out, play Power World with us or whatever. We always do polls and stuff, so we always play Jackbox games and stuff. But
we schedule them out so that they're just the first weekend of every month now, so that we don't have to think that hard about it.
We love not having to think.
That'll be nice. But
thank you for dumping on me, and
thank you for listening.
Of course, all day.
I'm very interested to see how things go with the next couple of episodes.
Okay, let's take our bets now before we get into it. How many couples? So how many couples are there, and then how many do we think are any of them saying yes at the altar?
I think maybe one.
Who do you think?
Okay, so there's Jimmy and Chelsea, Brittany and Kenneth, Jeremy and Laura, Clay and AD, Johnny and Amy. And that's it.
Oh, 5.
Oh, good. Okay, so there's 5 couples.
A nice even 5.
Yeah. Of the 5 at this point, I could see Kenneth and Brittany, maybe, because they seem like the ones who genuinely like each other the most.
Which is crazy because I have no idea who they are.
But also what remains to be seen is whether or not Miss I Don't See Color is actually going to be able to hack it, having very real and honest conversations about race, being in an interracial couple.
I'm interested to see how that looks.
Yeah. Because I'm not optimistic about it.
Yeah, because that's also another thing too. On one of the couples on Married at First Sight, the last season we watched too, we found out they obviously got a divorce. Surprised no one. But apparently, like, he was so weird on the show because they couldn't have conversations about race and stuff because it was an interracial couple. And so because like from our perspective, we're like, wow, this dude is like being super weird.
And very closed off with her.
And it's then to come to find out that's actually there's actually a really good reason for it.
Yes, and it was like, mostly because she was not like open to having that conversation
and
with
we would
him.
never have known that otherwise. So I'm like very weary and like aware of like the interactions and stuff. So I'm like, is this like, are we actually, this is what I'm talking about when like they can really skew.
All so manipulative.
Yeah. So, okay. So you think 1, maybe 2? I feel like AD and Clay stay together.
No, I don't think so.
Really?
I hope not.
I hope not really too, but.
I feel like the first fight that they have is going to be hopefully eye-opening for AD.
AD seemed to really have like...
Because here's the thing. The way that he responded to AD saying that she was dating Matthew was scary. And I don't think she was put off by that because she couldn't see him, right?
Oh.
But this man was pacing around the room with a speed that was disarming.
Really?
Uh-huh. And it was just... I
didn't know that.
It really felt like the thing that people who have a poor impulse control in regards to their anger do.
Oh, okay.
Where like, I'm so angry that I'm not in control of my body. And like we're about to lash out either like I'm going to punch a wall or like scream and yell or like something like it was that thing where you can tell that this person is just raging just below the surface. And it was very...
Like it's bubbling.
Uh-huh. And I think especially for, not men who've been in relationship with cis men.
Yeah.
It's that like... Even people who haven't been in relationships with them, honestly, just like you can tell when a cis man is angry and like it activates that immediate like danger, I need to get out of here thing. And it was like that feeling just watching it on camera. I was like, if I was in company with this man, I would be running so far. So I'm curious to see what their first actual conflict looks like, where he has very little desire to control his own emotions and he takes it out on her. Not that I'm looking forward to that, but I'm looking forward to them like actually having this conversation, and I'm hopeful that will be like eye-opening for AD to be like,
I hope this is not one of those
you're
situations.
not the person that I thought you were.
I hope it's not where someone sticks around longer than I guess the only one way to find out. But also to be clear too, to clarify, I was saying I have been privy to cis-het white men.
No, I know.
You're the least angry person. I'm not a very angry person.
No, if anything, we have the opposite problem in our conflict where I'm like, please just tell me how you feel.
Speaking of not being angry, definitely come and check next week's episodes out. I'm getting ready to put the TENS unit on out of solidarity with Mickey because you unfortunately cannot get a vasectomy or get your guts ripped out.
Yeah, my bits ripped out.
I will.
So we're running a little experiment.
I will see how we do.
But yeah, I think one couple is going to say yes at the altar. I think one couple is actually, like, of the 5, only one couple is going to successfully make it to the altar and then say yes. I think a couple will make it to the altar, but they're going to say no.
I can't wait to see who wins the bingo grand surprise prize.
Yeah, there's going to be 4 big prizes. So if you want to play bingo with us, come hang out. You can win a big thing.
Yeah.
Yay.
Let's get out of here.
Thanks for coming. If you guys like the video and you want to support the channel, you can like the video, you can subscribe, you can leave us 5-star reviews on whatever platform you're listening on. But otherwise, we're just glad you're here. So thanks for coming
and hanging out with us.
We love you the most, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. It was a little early.